Hello, my name is Kennedy. I am a yogi and a wellness enthusiast. I will be starting chiropractic school here shortly, actually, in just a couple of months. I have a bachelor's degree in health science and a business and wellness minor. I've always loved wellness and taking care of the body and have just always had a really strong connection with that. And I'm so thankful that I'm able to have a life that is able to teach to others something that I really truly love. So welcome to my podcast. This is the very first podcast in the series here. And I have to tell you, I have no idea where this podcast is going to take us. I have many ideas, and I have many different routes that I can go. But how about I just start the very first podcast off by breaking it down, telling you a little bit about myself, and then why I wanted to start a podcast. So I'm starting chiropractic school here in just a couple of months. Let's see. It's June, July, August, September, 3 more months I start chiropractic school. Speaking of that, I really have to get my student loans out for, for chiropractic school and then put my down payment down for that. But I am starting chiropractic school in September, and it's kind of been a dream of mine since I've been 12 years old to be a chiropractor. I've been fortunate enough to have an aunt who is a chiropractor and have been in and out of her office my entire life, but starting from like 12 years old, I really had this dream of becoming a chiropractor. She kind of had me doing all her little paperwork and stuff when I was younger, and just being in the office so much from a young age really got me inspired. I went to University of Missouri, and I got a bachelor's degree in health science and then a business and a wellness minor. So I had all intentions of, after I graduated high school, that I was going to graduate from undergrad and then jump right into chiropractic school. I should have already been about a year and a half into chiropractic school. However, I decided to take an internship to South Africa my junior year of college. And so I needed the internship to graduate, and it was so cool. I got the experience to actually travel to Cape Town, South Africa for 2 weeks for my internship. And it counted as 3 credit hours for my internship, which was so awesome. But that kind of changed my life a little bit in a way that I didn't realize that it totally would. And it got the boat rolling, and I need to travel, and I'm not ready to start anything serious because there's so much of the world that I don't know. And so I kind of decided after that, I didn't really tell anybody right up front, but it started just settling in my mind that I wasn't really ready to start chiropractic school right away. And so after traveling to Cape Town, South Africa, I met my family in Germany, and then we spent a couple of days in Germany and then went to Rome for a week, I believe it was. So started my traveling adventures right after that, and next thing you know, I was in Australia. I took a road trip through a good chunk of the west coast of the United States, and then after I graduated, so December of 2000, I'm sorry, not December, it was May of 2018, I decided that I was going to become an au pair. I guess it wasn't May of 2018, I kind of started looking at au pairing and reaching out to a couple of different families in January of 2018. And then I really just kind of took a risk and went for it and made my final decision somewhere between like April and May of 2018. And I found this family through aupairworld.com, and super risky, and I was so nervous, but I was so thrilled because I've always just had like this just adventurous part of me, and so I went for it. I met this family. We did a couple of Skype calls basically, and I decided that I was going to go live with them. And I told myself and I told them that it was going to be for a year. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for a year because I couldn't get a visa for a full year in Italy, which totally stunk. But I was able to spend 3 months there, which was so incredible. So I graduated in May. And then in June, my grandma and I actually took a cruise. And we started off in Rome. And then I got to take a cruise around Germany. So Rome, and then we stopped in Napoli, and then a couple of the Greek islands, and we ended in Venice. And so it's kind of just like a little Mediterranean cruise. It was for 2 weeks. It was so phenomenal. And so what I ended up doing is pretty much just staying in Italy. After that, the family that I lived with in Italy, they were up near Venice. And so after the cruise, I did actually fly home to get more of my bags. My mom works for United Airlines, and so I get pretty awesome flight benefits. I just have to pay for taxes, really. But I flew home, got more bags, and then I packed it on up and left for 3 more months. And that was the coolest experience I've ever had in my entire life. And I thought that Cape Town, South Africa changed my life, and that just changed my life even tenfold. Like it was insane how much I learned, not only just about myself, but about other people and relationships and love and community and the world. And I don't know, it was so moving to me in every way imaginable. Unfortunately, I had to come home after 3 months, and so I've been living back at home with back in my parents' house since September of 2018. Yeah, and so from then I decided I was going to go back to chiropractic school. So I am now starting in September of 2019, and then it'll be about 3 years and 8 months, I think the degree program is. So it's a long time. But I have been practicing yoga for many years. And fortunately, my aunt lives right down the street from me. And so since being back at home, she has gotten me into her office, and I have been doing awesome things for her and myself in her office. And so a couple of things that I've been doing is teaching postural training or personal training, some nutrition. I've been doing a lot of marketing for her. Man, that's the hardest part. I know it's a business minor, but it really doesn't matter. I've always been so bad at social media. And so getting out there and doing a lot of social media marketing, it's so hard. But I'm working at it and I'm learning, and it's becoming easier and easier as I keep practicing. But so along with those things, I've also been practicing yoga and teaching yoga outside of her office. So that inspired me so much because it's been my first experience with regular practice and regular teaching of yoga. And so that inspired me to have more of a community around yoga. Ooh, I'm sitting outside and there is bugs flying all around me. But yeah, I really wanted to, I've grown such a passion for yoga, and I want it to be more than just 2 days a week of teaching. Um, I I want to be able to touch other people's lives through yoga, because it's touched my life so much. Um, and it's made the biggest difference for me in relationships. Not just with other people, but with myself as well. Some of the biggest areas that I find the most impactful with yoga is being able to calm myself down in stressful situations, or just like by using breath work. Waking up in the morning feeling at ease. It's something that, like, until you actually experience it, I don't think you could truly understand the feeling of being at ease. And so that's the I always tell people who come into my yoga classes that I'm really there just as a guide. The best tool that I offer them is a voice and awesome meditation. Everything else is like what they bring to practice. And so I hope that I'm able to get there one day. It's going to take some time, and even if I only touch 5 lives in my entire life through yoga, which it will be more than that because it's already been more than that, but I'd be happy with that, just because I know that the 5 lives that I'm touching, those people are also spreading kindness and love and a newness to relationships, and what it means to be at ease and to use breath and to journey through life with a mindfulness. And so it's kind of where a lot of the name came from for my website and this business that I wanted to create, Journey Mindfully. And so I'm actually still in the middle of my teacher training. I'm doing a teacher training online, and one of the reasons that I thought a podcast would be really, really awesome. I love listening to podcasts. Like, I'm a podcast junkie, I think. Wake up listening to podcasts. I go to bed listening to podcasts, and I listen to them in between, all throughout the day. And so I'm really camera shy also. So that's why I'm like, you know what, podcast is the way to go for me. I'm able to touch a bigger audience through podcasting. But not only just that, I could really be myself through podcasts. And I can use podcasting as a tool to continue my education. So I've always considered myself a hands-on learner, and somebody who needs to kind of visualize it or do it for myself. So just reading a book isn't going to do it for me. And so what I kind of figured was, as I'm going through my teacher training, my yoga teacher training, I want to talk about in the podcast different things that I'm learning throughout my training. I'll expand on some of the things that I'm learning in my training so that I can start to incorporate them and know more about them during yoga classes. Also, so that's one reason I really wanted to create a podcast. Also, I do a lot of the marketing for Kim, my aunt, Dr. Kim, in New Beginnings Chiropractic. And so I thought, if this goes super awesome, I would love to start creating more wellness podcasts as well, so not just talking about yoga, but also incorporating a lot of other wellness skills, tips and tricks, and thoughts and whatnot, just kind of moving throughout life with the mindfulness. And so those are kind of the goals with this podcast, and we'll see how it goes. I'm really, really hoping that it just works. Because I love this. I kind of love talking, and this is a great place for me to just talk for a little bit without being interrupted, right? Because there's nobody I'm having conversation with. Although I do really have intentions to do a couple of interviews and stuff, like, for example, with Dr. Kim, with my aunt. I thought, how awesome would it be if when I start to build upon making podcasts for her office, that I record her and I interview her, ask her some really awesome questions. So those are going to be some things that you can look forward to in this podcast. And I wanted to just say thank you so much for listening, because this is something that is new to me. I don't know if you're able to tell or not, but I'm actually just like a little bit nervous about it. So thank you for being here and supporting me, and for tuning in. And I hope that you continue to tune in, and that we can grow together as people and start new relationships. And yes. So thank you so much. Maybe not the best ending, and probably not the best podcast that you've heard so far, but hopefully you felt that it was authentic, and you could start to really get to know me through the podcast. So thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.